Hello, I'm Carey Meitzler along with head coach Michael Avalon. We're going to kind of take a look back at the 2024 season of Wildcat baseball and also take a look ahead. But Mike, first and foremost, another successful year. Maybe not the way we wanted to end it, but you got to look at so many accomplishments this team made this year.
Absolutely. What an awesome year. What a high level year for our program, for our players, for our fans. I've had a little time just to kind of digest the whole year and think back. And, I guess as I've gotten older, one of the things that I want to make sure with our players and with our fans and really everyone is the fact that what these young men do on a daily basis is appreciated. And they leave Pearl River knowing that we were very thankful for them. And I'd love just to talk about some of the things, from my perspective, that they accomplished. The first thing that I want to mention is some things that people don't know maybe. I never had one ounce of an issue or a problem, which thankfully, we don't have many issues with our guys usually. We get guys from really good families that are good people that trust in what we do and do what's asked of them, and they just know what's expected. But every day at 5:30 or whenever it was, I went home. It was real simple. Go enjoy my family because those guys are taking care of themselves, and that speaks volumes of who they are. Academically in the classroom, they finished with the second highest GPA we've ever had here, several guys had 4.0, several guys were over 3.5 GPAs, and I think they took pride in that, and that's something that we asked them to do. Service projects, several service projects that they did, and on their own, they kind of set up leadership groups and went out and did different things in community where they set it up and they did it on their own. And I think that made an impact. I think our schools appreciated that. I think the students in the elementary schools, whether it was reading, whether it was open corridors or what have you, that was all set up by our players. And so very, very thankful for those things. One of the special things that one of the guys did when they left was they sent a message to our president and just thanked him for this institution and thanked him for how special this place was. And that tells you the type of player, the type of person that we had in our program this year. And as a baseball coach, I haven't mentioned one thing about what they did on the field. I'd love to share some of that with you. Because ultimately, that's what we're here for as far as the baseball program is to go out and be successful on the baseball field. Absolutely, they're student athletes, and we want them to be successful in the classroom. We want them to do things, but these guys chose Pearl River because of our baseball program. They were recruited here, and we told them along the way, we're going to push you in the classroom, we're going to push you in the community, we're going to push you to be better people, young men. We're going to push you in your faith. When I mentioned faith, that's another thing they accomplished. We had several guys that were heavily involved in FCA and led that every Wednesday night. Shared their testimonies and their walk in faith. We had several guys that started, Bible groups in the Riser Suite. I called Dr. Riser a couple of weeks ago and said, "Man, you're not going to believe I come up here on late one night. And those guys are in the Riser Suite and they're doing a Bible study together. I come up before we play in the regional and I pull by at 10 o'clock and 10 of them are walking out or more. I don't even know how many it was with their Bibles from just being together. So, again, still haven't mentioned one thing they did on the baseball field because those things to me are so precious and I appreciate them so much. But on the baseball field, man, weren't they special? Then they accomplished so many things. Number one, set the school record for wins. There's a lot of tradition at this place. There's a lot of winning that's happened here at Pearl River, and for that team to go out, this team to go out and set the school record for wins, that speaks volumes there.
I want to touch on that. And they did that against probably the toughest schedule that this school's ever played. Can't lose sight of that either.
Without a doubt. I'm the guy that's in charge of picking the schedule, and that's not easy to do. It's hard to do that. This year, I honestly put a challenge in front of these guys that, hey, I'm gonna pick the absolute hardest schedule that I can find. We're gonna go play the best teams we can find that'll agree to play us, whether it's at home, whether it's on the road. We played 28 road games this year. We're 26-2, probably the most wins in the country on the road. 26-2 against high level competition. But the thing I really want to touch on is what they did in conference. Mississippi Junior College baseball conference is like none other in the country. It's grueling. It's tough. It's double headers. It's traveling on the road, playing 50% on the road, 50% at home. There's no doubt, in my opinion, you get the best team. Whoever the best team is wins that conference. Because all 15 schools set out at the beginning of the season, and they want to be conference champions. And there's a lot of pride taken in that. Our presidents in this Mississippi Junior College system are proud of athletics. They give us the resources to succeed, and it means something when you win the MACCC Championship. These young men did that. That started on March 9th, and it ended on the end of April, Saturday, the 27th.
27th, that's correct.
So it's 8 weeks. 8 weeks. These guys started at Northeast and won 2 games there. Were in first place to start with and held that all the way through. Set the absolute best record in MACCC history. And so that's a tough deal. And you mentioned it. Where it didn't end the way that we wanted it to. And I will say that there is no question across the board. Our players, our coaches, we wanted to be in Indian, Oklahoma. That was the goal. And we wanted to be there because we won the regional. Obviously, if we would have gotten that at-large bid, we would have taken it. It's interesting. I was watching the SEC tournament last night with my boys. And they love baseball so they keep me in tune and all that stuff. And we were sitting there watching, the late game last night, and I think Mississippi State ended up knocking off Texas A&M. The 4 top seeds in the SEC tournament all got beat.
Right.
Baseball. Baseball. One of them got 10 run ruled. Kentucky, one of the hottest teams in the country, and that's baseball. And those guys would probably tell you the same thing. It's a very, very tough sport. As far as the at-large bid, the thing that's disappointing about that, I'm not saying they got it wrong, but by no means. East Central was very deserving of the at-large bid. They had an unbelievable season. I'm sure they'll represent Mississippi well at the World Series in Indian, Oklahoma. But what I will say is I don't think that system works. Top 5 team in the country all year, finished number 2 in the country, got beat by LSU Eunice, and tip of the hat to them for, the regional run. But in the game of baseball, as you see in the SEC tournament at the highest level in college baseball, it's tough to show up every day and win. But what is disappointing with the way the system works right now is because where we're located, that's the reason I believe we didn't get an at-large bid. Because there's no other reason why when you win 49 games, you're 26-2, you win the toughest conference in the country with the best record that's ever been won there. You're number 2 in ERA. You're number 2 in strikeouts. You're number 3 in home runs in the country. You're number 4 in runs scored. Number 5 in hits and top 16 in batting average. And that's the thing that's disappointing. Last thing I want to kind of close with that is one of the message to the guys this year, we wore on our wristbands all year, was to telestai, and that means it is finished. And that's what we use that example, and I understand the magnitude of that example. When Jesus Christ sat on the cross and he said, "It is finished," he gave us the ultimate example of finishing and the suffering and the tough part. And with this group, our group was not to downplay obviously what Jesus did and the magnitude of that, because we all understand that. We make sure our players understand that, but we use that as an example. And I think he would be okay with us using that as an example. But this group finished. We didn't per se finish exactly where we wanted to, but there's no doubt those guys gave everything they had. They represented this institution. They gave these people a lot to be proud of. And you don't want to lose that. And that's why this is so important today, is to make sure those young men, their families, they know that, man, I am so proud of them. I'm so thankful for them. They worked their tails off. They pushed it. They got after it. The only other tough part, about this for these young men. I want to make sure I address this, is the fact that, some people asked me the last couple of days, what happened? And I think that's a compliment. It's a tough compliment sometimes. Because I look at them, I go, "What do you mean? What happened?" These guys had an unbelievable record, but because in sports, you don't finish at the very end of the race and at the very last place that you want. Sometimes it can be misunderstood as maybe not as successful as it was. I appreciate for all the teams and all the winning that's been done to raise the standard and the bar and the expectation to where everybody expects us to be in Enid, Oklahoma. And I'm thankful for that. And that's the goal. And we want to get back there. There's no question. But I'll be dead young if I let these guys walk out of here and not be proud of what they accomplished and who they are, because they accomplished so much on the field. And they made us so proud, and they were a joy to coach. But more than that, is to hear the stories of these young men and the lives they impacted off the field, on the field. And it was really cool. Last thing I'll say about this group is, I've been fortunate to give this compliment to a lot of people that I've been fortunate to coach. And I feel like it's the strongest compliment I can give, a young man that I get to coach is, I got two little boys. And I tell them, I said, I told several of them this year, almost all of them. Matter of fact, I could probably say it to every one of them. If my two boys end up to be like you, I'm going to be really proud of them. And that's the bar they set. I'm thankful for that. Parents, fans of Pearl River, we got a lot to be thankful for with this group. They were a special group. They won't be forgotten. They made their mark, and they leave here as champions, no question.
Mike, looking at this ball club last year, you had to retool. I mean, retool is, some people say reload. I think it's just retooling. But, you had to bring in some guys that made an impact. And, boy, you had that. I mean, you look at the job that Creek Robertson did for you at short, Jeffrey Ince at second, Hollis Porter, came in at first base, Alex Wade in right field. You look at the job that Bryce Fowler did, Tomasini from the pen, a lot of those transfers. I think one of the things that people lose sight of is how hard, from your perspective, being the manager of this ball club, the captain of the ship, as I call it, you got to mesh all that together in a couple of months, because you don't have long to get ready. About 8-10 weeks in that fall to mesh that together. And I thought that the leadership coming back, some of those guys, and Marshall Phillips, J2 Store, had a lot to do with that. But I think that meshing that together, to me, is as big an accomplishment as anything, because of the talent level you had to all of a sudden, here's your role, here's where we need you to fit in. People overlook that. Right,
which makes this even more remarkable what they were able to accomplish.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the chance to have the experience from the year before. The majority of them, 9, for the most part, we started 9 brand new guys offensively. And guess what? Next year we'll do the same thing.
Right.
Okay, because we lose 9 guys. One other thing that I didn't even mention is something else that's really important about what they accomplished. I think we've got 15 guys that are moving on. All 15 have 4-year offers to go play at the next level. 13 of the 15 have Division I offers. That's another accomplishment. That's also why they come to Pearl River, is to have that chance to use this as a stepping stone, to the next level. So all 15, move on to the 4-year level. 13 out of 15 are playing Division I baseball, in really good conferences and really good programs. And so very, very thankful for that. And that's what we asked them when they came in, a year ago. Come here, use Pearl River as that stepping stone to the next level. We can help you. Along the way, you can help us.
Right.
They helped me so much. They made me such a better person, such a better coach, such a better father. And I'm forever thankful for that, because, they were a joy to be around and to jump in and be new to it and not have experienced Pearl River. And I told them in the visit, hey, it's a special place. You're going to get there, and I promise you, if this is the decision you make, you're going to leave here and know how special this place is. The people make it special. These guys jumped in from day one in a short amount of time, and boy, did this year fly by. It absolutely flew by, because I enjoyed the heck out of it. I'm thankful for it, and I appreciate them trusting us and believing in this program so quickly and making the impact that they did.
Mike, I'm going to kind of touch on this, but facility upgrades. Every year you do something. This year you added the pavilion. Year before it was the riser suite. Anything on the horizon for the Dub this year? Are you gonna take a step back?
No.
I knew better.
Right. No, we've always got ideas, and the administration may get frustrated with some of these ideas. I know maintenance does, but you got to keep getting better. You got to keep improving. I think the players have to see that. I think they have to see your facility, your desire to make it the best there is, and that's simply our desire. And I'm just thankful for all the help that we have. There's so many people that jump in and help and enjoy it. We hosted the regional, and I can't tell you how many times I had opposing fans and opposing parents and opposing coaches and the dads of opposing coaches come up to me and say, "Man, this place is nice. Y'all do a phenomenal job." And it's the people. There's so many people invested in this. There's so many people that love this place and want to see it be the best. Mm-hmm. And that's our goal, and we're very thankful for it. The thing we always hear at game days is just the atmosphere's different here, and that's what I felt 20-something years ago when I played at Holmes and came here. I felt it different. So obviously that's nothing I'm going to take credit for. I hope that we've added to it. We've improved it, maybe a little bit here and there. But it's a special place, and we're going to continue to grow and develop, and our players deserve the best, and we're going to do our best to make it. So we've got some plans, and we want people to come back next year, see the Dub, and see the improvements that we're going to make.
All right. One last thing on this segment I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about this last year's coaching staff. You talked about that class a lot. Their recruiting efforts getting out there on the road. When you're not playing, those guys are everywhere. I mean, you see those Peoria Community College vans up and down the roads. The job they do, and then the work they put in to make this program what it is. You're the captain of the ship, man. If you ain't got the right deckhands and the right guys there, and you've got those, and I don't mean that when I say deckhands. I'm talking about guys that can really do it right. And talking about blue collar, you've got a bunch of guys that are blue collar. They know how to work these guys.
Yeah, I'm just so humble when you ask that, especially with Slater. And I say especially for a reason with Slater and Penny. They've been here 5 years. And I'm thankful that they've jumped in there and been blue collar with us and trusted it, and they love this place. Brant Jones has brought an energy to us. He's got a passion for baseball and love for it and players, and that's always a good thing when we bring a new guy in. Is you want him to fit. He jumped right in and fit perfect with us. But I can't talk enough about the work that Penny and Slater do, and just the respect and the trust that our players have. But I think one of the most important things from an assistant coach and a head coach, which is relationship, is loyalty. And those guys are super, super loyal. Probably that's what this place does to you. It makes you so loyal to it. It makes you respect it so much. I always say this, it's just the appreciation. When you appreciate something, that you will do anything in the world for it. You'll protect it. You'll guard it. You'll fight for it. You'll work for it. And these two these two over the 5 years, and Brant this year, I think they truly appreciate Pearl River, the opportunity that this place gives them. I think they're thankful for it, and they show that every day with how they work, how they push our players, how they develop them. And I'm extremely thankful and grateful for that.
Well, someone asked me the other day, said, how do you sum up Pearl River baseball? I said, it's real simple. Pearl River and the CC, it says community college, also says consistent champions. It's the great young men that are rolling out of here. They're going to do wonders at the next level, not only in baseball, but in life, but also just the way they represented, and I say university because this is really a university with a college. I don't own it 2 years, but the way they have represented Pearl River, I get to see them on the road when I travel. People don't appreciate that. You want to find out how somebody is? Take them out of their environment and watch them. And I get to see it, and I tell people all the time, you have no idea the character those guys show when we go to eat places or when we're traveling down the road. It's amazing. And that comes from you and Slater and Penny and what y'all done with these guys, that consistency over these couple of years.
Yeah, and, kind of closing on this year, and I appreciate those things that you said. And I think this has been my fault the last couple days since the regional and since the at-large stuff. I said it all year that this team deserved it, But I guess the caveat to that now is that you don't always get what you deserve. and this team 100% deserved a chance to continue to play. They weren't perfect, and there were a couple games there that we didn't play our best, but that's baseball. I can promise you that's baseball. But all the successes that this team did have, they were well deserved, and they worked their tail off for them, and I'm extremely thankful for that. I do it all over again with this same group. I know that, as you said, they're going to go on to represent Pearl River and make us all proud. And another thing I learned from my dad. One of the strongest things that you can say to another person, and just tell them how much you think of them, or what you truly think of them. I think when you look at somebody and you say, "Hey, I'm proud of you," that's one of the greatest compliments that you can give a person. And there's no question, each one of these young men, I'm proud of you, and I thank you for what you did this year. I thank you for what you accomplished. I know how hard you worked. I know what this place means to you, and you definitely made this place better. You left your mark. Thank you for that.
Roll River Roll.
That's absolutely Roll River Roll.